Hi, I'm attorney Chris Reich, and in this video I want to talk about the possible outcomes in an excessive speed case or a criminal speed case. Basically, you have four possible outcomes. One, it's possible that you could get the judge assigned to your case to let you take defensive driving school to resolve your charge. This is at the discretion of the court, so unlike a civil ticket where you can just choose to go take defensive driving school, in a criminal speeding ticket you have to ask the court's permission. And each court has their own policy on this. Some judges will only allow defensive driving school up to a particular speed. Some judges will only allow up to so many miles per hour over the speed limit. And other judges will consider your background and driving history when making this decision. But it's always worth making the request unless you know for sure that particular judge is not going to grant it under the circumstances. If you do get defensive driving school and you timely complete the class, then that charge is going to get dismissed and nothing is going to show up on your driving history and you're going to avoid the criminal conviction. In our mind, that's generally going to be the best possible outcome in a criminal speed case. The next best outcome is getting it reduced to a civil speeding ticket. And this result's usually going to happen through negotiations with the prosecutor, the person from the state who's prosecuting the case. That person has the discretion to amend the charge from a criminal to a civil. So if you can get that outcome, then you're going to avoid the criminal component. You're still going to have that civil speeding ticket show up in your driving history. It's still going to be the same number of points as a criminal speeding ticket, 3 points, but you avoid that criminal part. So if somebody's doing a criminal background check, nothing is going to show up there. With a civil speeding ticket, there's almost always going to be a fine associated with that. And sometimes, depending on the speed in the prosecuting office, you might have to also take defensive driving school, which is not going to result in getting the case dismissed as part of the punitive part of the agreement. Or some courts, especially in counties outside Maricopa County, will require what's called a life skills class. This is another online class or a workbook, depending on what the court wants, that you have to complete as part of the punishment for the speeding ticket. A third possibility is the case could get dismissed for some reason other than defensive driving school. This could happen because you found some evidence that cuts in your favor, a good defense. Could happen because the police officer becomes unavailable. Could happen because he fails to show up at a trial. Could happen because you win at trial. You can get it dismissed for a variety of reasons. It could be either factual, evidentiary, or it could be some procedural error that the state makes, like they failed to disclose important evidence that you've been asking for. If you do get it dismissed, of course, nothing's going to show up on your driving history, no criminal background. Again, that's a great outcome, but it really depends on the facts and circumstances of each particular case. Finally, there is the possibility that you're going to get a conviction. You're going to be found guilty for an excessive speed charge. That's not the outcome that anybody wants, but that does happen sometimes. Typically, if you're convicted of excessive speed, you're going to be assessed a fine. You're going to get the 3 points on your license. You're going to get the Class 3 misdemeanor conviction. In most cases, that's it. In rare instances, we might see 1, 2, 3 days of jail. If the speed was particularly high or if the person is a repeat offender for this kind of violation. Every once in a while, we'll see probation for maybe 6 months or a year. But again, that's extremely rare. It depends on the particular facts of the case and the person who's prosecuting.